Hey, and welcome back. Picking up where we left off, we're back on another Playmates sponsored review, showing you guys some of the latest turtles to be hitting the shelves. These, of course, are going to be from the Ninja Elite series. Last time we showed you the villains of the line, and that was Shredder and Triceraton. You can see over my shoulder here, so you can check out that video. And this is the heroes portion of the line. So there's only 4 characters out in the Elite series right now. So let's start by checking out these boxes. We'll start, of course, here with Leonardo. The box, you can see, this is the Ninja Elite. This is different than the other one, which was more based on the cartoon series. This is inspired by the 1990 movie. So you can see it's Leonardo in a trench coat. I know the movie was Raph in a trench coat, and it is right here on the box as well in the corner. So you'll see some artwork from the movies here. You'll see a Foot Clan member. You'll see the turtles themselves, Splinter, just a mixture of shots from the movie. But nothing is really captured here from the film itself. But it's kind of inspired from the sense of Raph wearing the trench coat in the film. Plus, in the show, the turtles wore these trench coats in a couple of scenes when they were in disguise, because apparently a trench coat makes you invisible to the casual observer, other than being like a 6-foot green turtle. The trench coat's like, he's just a normal person, I guess. So same with the Mikey box here. No difference. It's the same box. It's just a change of from Leonardo to Mikey, but everything else is consistent there. As you can see on the back of the box, both of these guys feature 34 points of articulation, so we'll check that out. I don't know if that's true or not, or if that was a misprint with the other characters, but we'll check that out in a moment. But for this series, you can see they just have Leonardo and they just have Mikey. There is no Donatello, no Raphael. So if they wanted to do all 4, that would have made sense. Or if they wanted to just do Raph, that would have made sense too. But this is what we got. So they're inspired by the film. So you can immediately tell these guys have a different design to them than the cartoon or the classic vintage turtle look that we've seen and come to know and appreciate. So why don't we hop right in and check these guys out. All right, we're going to start with Leo here, and we're just going to be opening the top, and my trusted pen technique where I push out that back tab just makes it a little easier so you don't tear the cardboard while you're trying to open it. So we got our turtle figure here, and he's encased in a plastic backdrop with some cable ties, it looks like, holding him in place. Cable ties are very difficult to cut off a character, so I brought some sprue cutters with me here today because I didn't know what to anticipate. And sprue cutters are great for getting very tight into these spaces and cutting cable ties and wire ties and all sorts of ties. So I love sprue cutters. Originally bought them for model building, but they have more applications, as you can see, than just that. This last one is tricky because it's on his sword. So they really secured this guy in here and his accessory. So while I'm cutting him out here, I'll give you a close-up so you can check out the great detail this character has. So this is a all-cloth trench coat, not plastic, that he's included with. So giving it a little bit more premium feel. This is their premium line, the Ninja Elite series. So he features that all-cloth trench coat. His fedora is flocked, so that's kind of interesting too. They went with a flocked fedora for the character here. Again, a premium feel for the accessory. And it's kind of got grooves in it to fit it to the head, so to wear around his headband. It's perfect there. He has his signature sword he's holding in his hand there, you can see. He only comes with just the one sword. Oh, my mistake. He does have both. That was behind him. I didn't see it in the package. He has both swords, so he could do his Leonardo signature weapons, essentially. So he has both swords, and he has his sword holder. Now, with the trench coat on, you can't really put this on him. You would have to take the trench coat off. So let's check how that works. So the buckle in the front here is actually a functional buckle. You put the little robe closer or belt through the loop, and then the robe is Velcroed together. So I can take the robe off, and then on the back I do see where I can mount the holster or holder here for the sai. So, or the, I'm sorry, for the katanas. So that does go on there. I'm going to try to see if I could get the robe or the trench coat over it, so we could just have it underneath the. You can. It just makes them super bulky. But you know, he's already a turtle, so I don't think that matters too much. So if you wanted to keep both accessories on him, you could do that, or you could remove the trench coat entirely. I don't want to do that. It seems like a lot of work. But you could pull that off his arms and take the trench coat off. Like I said, it's fully functional. You have that great belt feature there, so I could put it back through the loop here and then tighten the belt, put it all the way through just like a standard belt. And that's not, I did that in like a second. I didn't really have to struggle with that. I usually have to struggle with the cloth clothing on characters. So, kudos to Playmates for designing it that way so that this wouldn't be too difficult to maneuver if I wanted to take it on or off. Like I said, he does look a little bulkier. He looks more like the Hunchback Leo from NECA than he does his standard Leo, but it does fit under there if you wanted to do that. And if you wanted to take it off, it makes it functional. So let's check out this articulation. We'll start down with the feet. Both toes articulate independently, so that is pretty cool. I did not anticipate that. So in the articulation, so there's 2 points right there, and then he's got that ankle articulation as well. It's not on a ball joint. It does turn left and right and up and down, but it's not a side-to-side sort of flexibility. He's got a double knee, and then you can see that knee pad there hiding that joint, so it's a fun application. His thighs twist side to side, and he does have that full ball joint on the hips there. There's no ab articulation, or there shouldn't be, because he's got the shell, so that would be kind of weird. He's got shoulder articulation, and it looks like he has bicep articulation, double elbow. And when we come to the wrist, and I'll just take the sword out for a second. So we have wrist articulation, and then we have the fingers individually flex. So there's another 3 points there, the thumb as well. So that's really cool. So you could close the hand a little bit more around the weapons and get a more secure fit. So I'll turn the thumb in and close the fingers, and it'll hold that katana sword really tight. So that's fun. So you get that on both hands. So all that articulation there. And then we'll come up to the head, and I'll take the hat off so we can check this out a little better. And we have side to side, and it looks like up and down as well. So it is on a ball, so it's on a ball joint. And then the headband does not have articulation. Sometimes they move. So that's a lot of articulation there, more than I expected. I don't know if it's 32, or is that what it said, 34? But maybe I'm missing some, particularly with the robe on. I don't see any hidden articulation there. It's just the shell in one piece. But that's a lot of articulation. So it's close, if not, in proximity of somewhere in the 30s. But that's pretty nice. I mean, not bad for, I think it's a $20 price point. You get this guy. He's got this premium look to it. And I can't get this to stay on. There we go. You got to push it down a little bit. He's got a premium look to it. He's got this flocked fedora, which is a fun little feature in there. He's got this real cloth robe. He's this sturdy center of gravity on this guy. He's not going anywhere. I'll do a little shake test. Yep, not going anywhere. He holds both weapons. The hands have individual articulation in them, so you can really grab these swords. The toes have articulation in them, so that's pretty cool as well. And if you wanted to take the trench coat off and just use them as like a high-end looking Leo figure, you could do that as well and take that trench coat off. Like I said, I don't want to do that, but I'll do that with the Mikey one so we can see how that looks. So a lot of options with this figure. I think it's pretty cool, and for the price point, it's pretty nice. I mean, it's comparable to your Marvel Legends or your Black Series. It has that level of detail and that level of features to it, so I think it's at that premium price point. So that is our look at Leo. Let's crack into Mikey next. So Mikey here is going to open the same way as Leo. I'm just going to use that pen technique. It's just very reliable, and it keeps the box from tearing any more than it already has. So we'll look at Mikey here. First thing I noticed, no cable ties. I guess they don't need to pack him in as securely. I don't know. They went with tape, and they went with those little plastic ties on his feet, the transparent ones. So that's all that's holding him in here. And he's got them on his nunchaku as well. We'll just slide those out. But yeah, he's packaged in here a little bit differently. I'm not sure why Mikey didn't need cable ties on his nunchucks or his body or anything like Leo got. Leo was much more secure in there. Don't understand the change in how they packaged it, but I mean, I welcome it. It's just easier to get them out of there. He does have cable ties on his thighs, and that's really it. Everything else is just that transparent rubber plastic securing line. So while I get him out here, why don't we take a look at Mikey. So Mikey is very similar to the design of Leo here, other than the change in the headband. It's a different style headband as well. It's a little wavier than the one we saw in Leo. But the big differences are obviously going to be the accessories. He's coming with those nunchaku rather, and Leo came with the katanas. In addition to that, we have a different facial expression on Mikey. It's a little more lively, smiling there, as opposed to Leo is a little bit more serious with the grimace on his face. So just a little change in the core of the turtles. But other than that, it looks like he has very similar articulation to Leo. They're both saying 34 in the package, so I imagine that's the case. But we can see he grabs them with his hands just like Leo does. What I like about these accessories is you can see this nice chain on them as well. And this is a metallic chain. I'm not really sure what kind of metal this is, but it's not plastic. This is metal. So that's a nice addition when you're talking about a premium figure, to have metal on the chains here. I think in the movie, though, they were rope. So it's not really keeping with that theme, but it's still a nice kind of premium look on it. And don't quote me on the nunchuck, but I believe they were rope in the movie. So that is the look at his accessories there. Same fedora, flocked again with that sort of indentation on it, so it could map onto the head and have room to go around that headband. And this one, yep, this still pops off. It doesn't stay on like a suction, but well, I guess a little bit better. I'll stick it on. So why don't we try taking the coat off on this one so we could check out what they look like underneath. As I promised, I didn't do it with the Leo there. So I'll take out his nunchuck. And he holds these nunchuck really well. Like the articulation in the hands really help you get a good grip on the character here. And one more point I didn't notice on the Leo, but the thumb not only maneuvers side to side, it goes up and down as well. So there's a joint in that to move that thumb. So there's another point of articulation. Keep discovering more as I continue to play with it. And that trench coat, like I said, it's that nice cloth, but you could see the lines of sewing on there. You could see the buttons. I mean, it looks like a pretty good version of a trench coat for a figure of this size. So let's get the coat off here. I'll try to see if I could slide his hand through. It's going to take probably a little maneuvering, I imagine, because it's the hands are kind of large with those giant turtle fingers. And then I got to figure out how to maneuver it off the turtle. Is the other part of the equation, which is probably not going to be too easy. Taking clothes, lab coats, or anything off of a character is very difficult because they generally don't have that range of motion like a human being where you can bend your arms behind you easily. So I think it helps sometimes to just point it in a direction as you try to pull it off. But yeah, I got it going here a little bit now. So you can see underneath already, I mean, he's got a nice look on that shell. I'll give you a close-up so we can see the shell here. But okay, I'm discovering an additional point of articulation. I was wrong about the shell. There is articulation on the shell. So we'll check that out in just a second. But we're going to have to get over this lump there, and there we go. Okay, now we get one side out. All right, so we do have additional articulation. So in the shell here itself, we have a little bend at the midsection, a little twist, a little bend. So that's probably in Leo as well. So we do have that midsection bend, and you can see the belt here going around, and of course I'll give you a close-up. You can see the belt going around in the front all the way to the back. You can see some scratches on the shell, so some nice detailing there. And of course, you could see a holster for his nunchaku there on his back as well. So Leo's wasn't mounted on him. You had to put it on separately. But Michelangelo's is there for the nunchaku, and they fit in there nice and snug. So you could have, I guess if you wanted to, you could put him in there and put the overcoat over him so he could be truly incognito. But they fit in there really nicely. So it's a nice feature that they added as well. So this is a lot of premium elements to it. It's not like your standard turtle you pick up at the store. This is definitely, as it says, the Elite Series. So this Ninja Elite Series has a lot of articulation to it. And while not spot on or as good, I think, as the NECA movie turtles look, it looks pretty good. I mean, this is way better than movie turtles we had actually back at the point of the movie in 1990. Those turtles look nothing like the movie turtles. I mean, they tried, but this is a really nice sculpt on this guy, and it does give off those big movie vibes. I mean, it's missing like the spotting, and it's missing a couple of the other color tones and a little bit more of the facial rubbery look to it, but I think this has a very close look if you were trying to recreate that sort of movie tone. It's close. I think it's pretty close. It's not perfect, but it's pretty close. And for $20, I think this is pretty great approximation of the film. I mean, he's got the same sort of padding style and everything. So it's pretty close. Like they said, inspired by, it's not exactly one for one, but it's still pretty neat. So yeah, I mean, the coat comes off, a little bit of maneuvering. You have this nice flocked fedora. You have his nunchaku here with real metal in between, so a nice little premium element to it. I mean, both of these characters, I think, are pretty great in this series. They have that, like I said, very movie-ish kind of look to them and a lot of other premium elements. So I think they are in the price point. Like I said, coming in around 20 bucks or less. They definitely check that box. You'll be happy if you're a fan of the film, because these are pretty good. I mean, if you're really hardcore, obviously you're going to like the NECA ones more. They just kind of, they're perfect, but they're also out of production and super expensive right now. So if you're looking for a nice substitute, I think this kind of fits. And they got pretty good articulation. I mean, look at that, Mikey hungry. So that's pretty good that they can reach around like that. So tons of articulation, really nice premium elements to it. That flocked hat, the trench coat made out of cloth, the weapons, the holsters, the posability. These guys are definitely in that premium market. So totally worth that price, in my opinion. You can pick these up now pretty much anywhere. I saw them at Target, they're at Walmart, so they shouldn't be hard for you guys to pick up. Might even find a better price on them somewhere. Of course, we'll have links for you guys if you want to pick these up now. But that is our look at the second half of the Ninja Elite series. This, like I said, is inspired by the movie. The first half we showed you was inspired by the cartoon. And they had more of a cartoon look. I think Triceraton looked really good, and I thought Shredder looked pretty good too. So you can check out that review if you want to see how those guys look. But this is the first wave in the Ninja Elite series, these 4 figures. And I think Playmates is doing it's a pretty good start to where they want to go with this line. I like how they have the cartoon and the movie line. It's sort of mirroring NECA's line, but they're checking the boxes and the demand. People love that movie. It's a classic, even though it wasn't the greatest movie ever. It's still kind of iconic for those scary rubber costumes. And the cartoon is amazing. Like, it's hard to beat that original cartoon. So, like I said, pick these guys up now in stores if you're interested. We'll have more looks at other Playmates Turtles very soon. We have one more set we want to show you guys. We showed you the pizza shooting ones, and we showed you the Ninja Elite series. So if you want to check those videos out, feel free to look them up in our videos. So that's all for this time. Like, subscribe, and follow. We have more toy reviews coming up. We have other surprises coming up as well. So keep checking back, and until then, we will see you next time.